trailer maintenance. Let's get started. Welcome to Jimmy James Garage. I'm Jimmy. Well, here we are. Car shows season's kind of coming to an end. While you're going through all this, you got to maintain your trailer. Huh. Never thought of that, did you? That's why you see them on the side of the road. I'm not saying I'm not thinking I'd be on the side of the road, but I do everything I can. So if I do get on the side of the road, it ain't Jimmy James's fault. It just happens. So let me flip this around and show you what we're going to do. So first off, we're going to do some bearing buddies. I've kind of already started this, but these bearing buddies I put on where the place the caps are, and you can then just lube them with a little grease gun. And I'm going to kind of show you how to do that because it's pretty interesting on how to actually load the gun. I have a few tricks that will help you because these things never work very good. They're a pain in the butt, to be honest with you. So yeah, we're gonna lube all those up. We're gonna make sure they're tight. I just did the wheel bearing, so I'm not gonna show you that part. But yeah, they're good and tight. So, but they're not too tight. Remember that, not too tight. We're gonna put a cover back on our winch to keep our rope from getting sunburned. We're gonna put in, of course, you can tell I've been to car show stuff. I got junk in here. We're gonna clean that out. You don't need to see much of that. Leave it to the four-wheeler, but you're also gonna hit these hitch parts. You're gonna have to grease up your sway bar hitches, your lift bars, which I highly recommend a lift hitch on any kind of trailer. And what that does is they hook up to the side here and then to your truck, and it lifts and distributes more of the weight on the vehicle. Really makes the trailers run and drive nice. So this is our car trailer we haul all sorts of stuff on. I even welded on some fancy little bump stops. So when I pull the car on, I zip it right on, hits the stops, keeps from going forward. It's like a little wedge. It works really well. And then I tie them down to the sides. I have these little lasso ties. Let me show you those. But they just go around like so. Let me set the camera up here so we can kind of see what we got going on. So they're just a lasso. Kind of cool. I keep them rolled up, but you just stick them over the tire like so. It goes over the tire, and then this end comes right through like a lasso, like a little hook. Like so, you just pull it on through like that, and you can either hook it over the tire, you can hook it to a frame piece, whatever it is, and it has a ratchet on the other end. And you just ratchet it down. This is a great way to strap things down. I have other big straps in there and chains and lots of stuff. I have a jack in there. I have jack stands because when we jack this thing up, you want to make sure you put jack stands on. And I also use the jack stands when I load the trailer. I put them in the back here so we don't get a lot of flex on the hitch, things like that. But let me show you here a little trick on this. And I don't have a cameraman today, so I'm gonna be relying on myself to do this. So what you want to do with this gun here, let me get this set here. And what you're going to do here with this gun, you stick the little cartridge, you pull this thing back till it locks. Okay, does it make sense? Let me flip this thing around so we can see better here. There we go. So you lock this thing up. You just pull it till it locks. They're all a little different. This Lincoln one is a good one. It seems to work really well. But here's the trick they don't tell you. You peel the little tape off. It has an arrow which way it goes. You put it in there. You put this on here like this. And I'm going to show you something to keep it. So you just get it where the threads start. Kind of pulling in. Okay, threads start there. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, about 6 turns, right? Back it off like 1, 2, 3 turns-ish, 3.5, somewhere in there. Okay, then you release the handle like so and go slow with it because what it's doing, it bleeds the air out of there. And then it will pump nice. There it goes. So now it's going to find its way. I leave it for a minute like this. And I don't mean a minute, I mean a few seconds. Just kind of make sure the air gets out of there. And then you're just going to tighten her down like so. Okay, nice and tight. We're good to go. Handles in. we're ready to pump. I've already had grease in it, so it's pretty much primed. The other little trick you want to do is take a pair of pliers and you want to loosen these ends up. Not so they fall out, but they're loose. Put them on loose, tighten them on the Zerk fitting, and then pump away, and then you go. So let me get the camera down here and I will show you what we're doing. All right, get yourself some rubber gloves. Get yourself a couple of these little blue towels. This thing gets kind of greasy and nasty. So the way we're gonna do this is spring loaded right here. You're gonna watch that thing start to return. Get it all kind of cleaned up. You know, it's just kind of get all the goop out of it so you can kind of see what you're doing. Just like so. Nothing fancy at all, just clean her up. Okay, so then you're gonna take this gun that we just talked about, because remember, it's loose. Okay, so we're just gonna push it on here and we're gonna watch this thing come off. Come on back. So we get it on there. Let's hold on here, that thing's spinning. So let's get it, make sure that's tightened up first. So the thing was a little loose. All right, there, it's tight. All right, I'll probably put a little ratchet on that. So, but anyways, you put it on here and then just twist this gun up till it's tight. And what it is, it clamps around that Zerk fitting so there's no grease leaking out. Does that make sense to everybody? And then we're gonna watch this thing. Watch right here, it'll move on out. Once it starts to move out, we're gonna be good. I can see it moving a little bit now. So we're gonna keep pumping it up. We don't wanna go too far. There we go. So let's go one more. Yeah, I like that, because there's a snap ring around the end of this. We don't want it pushing against the snap ring, because there's a spring in there that's pushing that grease down in there. So then what we do is we loosen this thing up, like so. Okay, don't take it off. And then now that one come off easy. If it comes off too hard, just have yourself a screwdriver here handy and just kind of pry it so it doesn't pull this snap ring and all this stuff off, because it will pull it off. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So now I'm going to show you another little trick here. Of course, I lost my towel because we got wind out here. The minute I go to film, we get a breeze. What is up with that? Never fails. Okay, so we want it all nice and clean, right? We got her all fairly cleaned up. I mean, it's good enough. I'll wash the wheel off and get it all looking good for the winter time. We're going to put a cover over the tires so we don't rot the tires out. You know, to make sure before I did all this, I don't know if I did it on camera or not, but I get a hold of this wheel and I see if I have any wiggle. And I have no wiggle. I got some spring stuff, but I got no wiggle, okay? And when you pack your bearings, that's what you want. You want this thing to be tight, but no load on it. You don't want it to be loose where it wiggles. You want it in that zero spec area. So then, here's the fancy part. This little cap has a little grease on the inside. So what you're gonna do, I'm gonna clean it up on the outside a little bit. You're gonna take that little grease right here. We're gonna run our finger on it, because it's fine. And we're running on this. See, look at that, it says Bearing Buddy. So, and these are the let's see, these are the model 1980, genuine Bearing Buddies. A lot of boats use these because you get them in the water a lot. I just like them because they always have grease in them. It's, you know, it saves you from packing the bearings constantly, especially as much as we drive it. So we'll get that nice and greased up on the edge. Don't go crazy. Don't lose your mind and grease this thing like it's, you know, needs to be greased forever. All right, so then we get her all cleaned up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push this cap on. And then as it pushes on, see, it doesn't want to go on. You hold the outside, hold the inside, and you feel, I don't know if you can hear that, but air come out. And it goes in, and you just tuck it in there, and you kind of work that air out. Open it up a little bit, give her a little twist, and look at, watch this end. You can tell it's on, see? It ain't coming off, because if you look right here, let me get that better cleaned up. I can see, maybe you'll see it a little better. So, when I pull on it, the inside stays against that Zerk fitting, and it won't let it go. Now I'm going to pull that cap back off, because I am going to tighten that Zerk fitting up a little bit. As you saw, it was a little loose. But there you go. So, again, you want to get your rubber gloves, because this is a grimy, messy job. Let me get you around here. It's a grimy job. all 4 wheels. We're gonna do a little visual inspection of this stuff. We're gonna look at all the lug nuts, get it back down. We're gonna put a torque wrench on it. We're gonna make sure we're ready to go. We're gonna put air in the tires. This thing is gonna be ready to go the next time we use it. We're getting towards winter. It's pretty gonna be winterized. I'm gonna sit it off for the winter time. Not gonna get much use during the winter. You never know. You never know what Jimmy James drags home. But I want this trailer ready to go. So it's ready to go for the next time. If it ends up sitting for a while, I might come out here, throw a jack under real quick, wiggle it all, make sure it's good. It is gonna be fine. Again, you wanna cover these tires for the winter time. You wanna make sure all your stuff's taken care of. Hey, that's it. That'll keep you from being on the side of the road. Let's face it, nothing worse than burning up an axle on the side of the road and having to fix it with your hot rod sitting on it, or your new prized possession you just picked up, you know, and it has rust all over it and you can't wait to get it home to, you know, to clean it all up. Bearing Buddies. I'm not sponsored by them. They're just what I like to use. You can use the caps. Now, if you want to pack bearings, you know, maybe a later date I'll do a video on packing bearings, but yeah, this is good. This is real good. If they're tight and they got grease, and they last a long, long time. It's the way to go. It's really a lot better than the Kickin' Nards. Really is. Okay, on each side of this, you're going to see other videos, and I will see you there.